Daily Talking Sports.
What is going on, football fans? Back at it with another New York Giants video. Before I get started, just want to let everybody know I will be live tonight, as I'll talk more in depth with about this with you guys. I know a lot of you guys are as excited, just like I am, about the fact that the New York Giants brought in Logan Ryan. In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the things that Joe Judge had to say about Ryan, both as a player and, the role that he sees, how he'll fit with this defense this year. I'm going to play a couple of audio clips, which is why I'm using the OBS right now. Lately, I've been using the phone because it seems like better video quality, but I don't know how to do that with the audio clips. The other thing I'm going to jump into is something that was pointed out by one of my subscribers on Instagram. Told me to make a video on it, so I'm going to include it in this one by Moose. So I want to say thank you for the shout, for pointing me to that audio clip of Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football on NFL Network, talking about the New York Giants playoff chances, and the segment was basically about their ceiling. So I thought it was interesting. We'll listen to it. And, I've been conservative this offseason. I don't want to go in with false expectations. But by the same token, I always say it is football and things can happen if things bounce your way. And one thing I will say, based off of yesterday, not that I'm predicting us to make the playoffs right now, I feel a lot more confident with this football team going into the year with a guy like Logan Ryan in the defensive backfield. It's something that we desperately needed after McKinney went down, and you could at least argue that we may actually be a better team than we were, being that Logan Ryan is experienced and McKinney was coming in as a rookie. And we all can't wait to see McKinney on the football field, though. I think he's going to be a tremendous talent, but I do think Logan Ryan fits this defense very well, mainly due to the fact that he's incredibly versatile, which is what this defense calls for. And Joe Judge was asked, and we all have the same question, what position is he going to play, right? Because of all the injuries that we have on the outside corner, the safety position, whatever it may be, and Judge did not give a definitive answer, which I didn't expect him to. Because at the end of the day, nobody on this defense really has a definitive position, and Xavier McKinney, who's the guy we're assuming he's replacing, at least partially, definitely didn't have one. Xavier McKinney played over 200 snaps at 3 different positions over his last 2 years in college, and you could have argued he was going to be one of the most versatile pieces in this defense. So I think that's exactly what Logan Ryan is going to do. He's going to assume the Xavier McKinney role and maybe play a little bit more on the outside than McKinney would have for the New York Giants. The other thing I failed to mention yesterday in my reaction video is just how versatile Logan Ryan is in terms of being in the special teams department. I remember mentioning that in my video. He was a special teams standout his first 2 years with the New England Patriots. Well, Judge was the assistant coach there, and maybe Judge and the Giants will use him in that capacity, at least to a certain extent. Of course, you don't want to wear out your players. You don't want to be getting them injured on special teams, but maybe Logan Ryan could help us in that aspect as well. But let's jump into some of the quotes by Joe Judge, then I'll pull up an audio clip, and then we'll get into what Good Morning Football had to say on the NFL Network regarding the New York Giants' upside and their playoff possibilities. Let's jump right into the first quote about Logan Ryan. This coming from Joe Judge, and this is pretty standard. Giants head coach Joe Judge says Logan Ryan is a smart, tough football player, and we're glad to have him. That coming from Giants Today on Twitter. Next thing I wanted to pull up for you guys was from Art Stapleton. He says Logan Ryan played 25% and 46% of the special team snaps to start out his NFL career with the Patriots in 2013 and 14. And of course, like I failed to mention that yesterday, but that would make sense. Judge is a guy that looks to get, obviously, he's going to try to get a lot out of the special teams department for the Giants, and maybe Logan Ryan could assist in that. Joe Judge was a special teams assistant on those teams before he took over as the special teams coordinator in 2015. And then finally, I wanted to pull this up for you guys. Joe Judge said Logan Ryan is a player who comes to work every day with the right demeanor. He noticed him when they were on the same team and then as a competitor. The other thing I failed to mention was Joe Judge also talked about the fact that they were monitoring this the whole way. And, Logan Ryan was a guy that he loved coaching, and he was hoping they'd be able to come, together before the start of the season, and he's very thankful that they did. But, of course, that sounds like the exact type of guy that he wants, right? That lunch pail mentality. Come to work every day, give yourself, full effort. And it just seems like this is a Joe Judge guy, which is a big reason why Logan Ryan probably came here. And then Judge was asked about the role that Logan Ryan will play with the New York Giants, whether he will play mainly the safety, the corner, the slot, whatever it may be. And this was his answer. Quick little 20-second clip.
Be a cornerback or a safety? he's going to play a variety of roles for us. So if I gave you one answer right there, I'd be lying. Logan, one of his strengths is really his versatility. We're going to play him, in different packages all over the field. Really having a guy like that allows you to play other guys, in fewer positions because he can handle a lot of the multiples while these guys are learning the system.
So there you go, and that's another really good point he brings up is they have a lot of young players learning the new system, and a guy like Logan Ryan, the added value to having a player like that on your team that you could move around gives those guys less responsibility and, the ability to get good at one specific area. So maybe a guy like Julian Love, who is maybe going to be thrown into that exterior corner position because you go out and get Logan Ryan. It allows Julian Love to learn that position so he doesn't have to move around too much, which is more added value. The next thing I wanted to pull up for you guys was what Kyle Brandt had to say and Good Morning Football on the NFL Network regarding the New York Giants playoff possibilities and their ceiling.
To be optimism. Gallman looks to be buying in. I like hearing from him. He's having the time of his life out there, earning some work, earning some praise from his coaches. They have a season opener, guys, Monday. It's the 14th against Pittsburgh. It's September 1st. It's time for football, baby. Nate, what's the ceiling for Big Blue in 2020?
All right, let me get to Big Blue in a second. If I'm the Eagles, I'm thinking to myself, we're division champs. If I'm the Cowboys, I'm thinking to myself, we should have been division champs, and we got better this offseason, and we have a great Super Bowl winning head coach now taking over. If I'm the Giants, I'm thinking, ooh, NFC East, the Eagles and the Cowboys. Who cares? Like, the Eagles are 9-7, scraped their way through. The Cowboys were 8-8 with all that talent. So if I'm the Giants, I'm sitting back saying, okay, we were 2-6 on the road, 2-6 at home. We weren't playing well. We had injuries. We had a coaching change. With all that said, why should I be scared of the Eagles and why should I be scared of the Cowboys? So I truly believe that the Giants should be walking into the season saying, we can be NFC East champs. Like, why couldn't they? This division is up in the air.
Yeah, I guess they're not scared of talent. That's what the Eagles and the Cowboys have. I think the ceiling is playoffs. Now, whether it's within division or in a wild card, you guys know this. I've talked a lot about the Giants making the playoffs this year. They have a first-year head coach. Last year, the Packers were a game away from the Super Bowl with a first-year head coach. But more than anything, I just believe in Jason Garrett. I think Jason Garrett's going to find a second life to his career. There's some people, they're just great coordinators, and maybe that's the best fit. It's like a Norv Turner or a Wade Phillips. They've done the head coaching thing. They've had some success. But when you get them in a coordinator, it's like you're getting a value. Head coach acumen with a coordinator price. I think the Giants offense is going to take off under Jason Garrett. It's not just Saquon, it's all those guys. I'll say it again. I'll put the hat on next week. I think the Giants are going to the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I don't think it's crazy, Kyle. I think there's 3 wild card teams now in the new playoff format, so there's another spot for them to get in, and it's such a weird season. Maybe it's the most disciplined team that tackles the hardest that gets in. Joe Judge gave another interview this morning with another radio show, and he said this. I love this quote. "I don't have a lot of time to mix fluff and try to make everything all sunshine and rainbows," end quote. I think the Giants players are responding to that. He's being real with them. So playoffs are a possibility. They're not going to the Super Bowl. They're not winning the Super Bowl. But this is a very young team. And I don't think a playoff spot is crazy, especially a year after the 49ers, a very young team, went from 4-12 to being 10 minutes away from winning and hosting the Lombardi Trophy.
So there you have it.
Getting exactly what you want on eBay is
Sorry about
also
that,
about
guys.
who you're getting it from.
Trying to fix the volume there. But so there you have it, guys. That was Kyle Brandt and Good Morning Football talking about the possibility of the New York Giants potentially making the playoffs. And you know what? They've been on the Giants' coattails this entire offseason, and they seem to be giving the Giants more credit than anybody else in terms of a possibility of making the playoffs. As far as what Brandt said, he basically talked about the main reason that he seems to think the New York Giants have a good chance to make the playoffs has to do with the fact that he thinks Jason Garrett is being put back into that role where he is so good. And I've talked about that. Jason Garrett did a great job as an offensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys, where they were routinely in the top 5 to 10 offenses year in and year out over a 6-year period in which he was calling the plays. And we'll have to wait and see how this offensive line performs. He's also, a big fan of Daniel Jones. As far as the other panelists on there, Nate Burleson went on to talk about how he doesn't think the New York Giants should be scared. And, to be fair, the NFC East might be the weakest division in the sport. Like he said last year, the Eagles went 9-7, albeit had a ton of injuries. Now the Dallas Cowboys bring in a better coach this year, or at least they think he will be a better head coach. He does have a Super Bowl ring with Mike McCarthy. and they have a lot of talent, but like you said, they had a lot of talent last year, and they went 8-8. So, you know what it is, man. I'm not going to make any outlandish predictions, but at the end of the day, it is football, and any given Sunday, anybody could win, and let's wait and see. Let's see if we get the ball rolling, you know, on the right foot after week 1. Maybe we could beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, and maybe everybody's mindset changes. I'm going to go into the year cautiously optimistic, I suppose, that this team is going to be set up for the future. I'm going to continue to say that I don't expect playoffs this year, but if it happens, great. But it's nice to hear some members of the media giving New York Giants fans some hope going into this season. We'll have to wait and see. As always, guys, if you like what you watch, please subscribe, drop a comment, maybe give me a little thumbs up. Cheers.